Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of r/Tales from Call Centers. In today's episode, I hate my job and I'm leaving in 2 weeks, so here's some nice and funny moments. How dare you send me this notice? I'm learning how to learn and laugh at myself. I also accidentally created a mythical creature. Customers don't seem to know how bills work. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. I hate my job and I'm leaving in 2 weeks, so here's some nice and funny moments. I've worked on and off in call centers for some years. I've finally decided to pack it in once and for all, since I now have deep depression from the boredom and isolation. That being said, there were some rare good moments. Actual person's name: Major Pratt. He had been in the army. Received a call from a neurotic grandmother with her 1-year-old on her lap. The baby decides to take off its diaper, and she starts screaming that he's got poo over her and orders her husband to help clear it up because she's on the phone with me. It was comedy gold. Lovely lady who was the owner of a B&B in Wales, UK. We had a fabulous chat about Wales, and she invited me to visit and said she would remember my name when I came. Sadly, I misplaced the name of the B&B, otherwise I definitely would have turned up. Screaming man on the phone with his wife in the background shouting at him to tell us that he's gonna quit our company. I listened patiently, and by the end of the call he apologized for his attitude. It's nice when customers do that and recognize they are in the wrong. Got so bored with one job that I started putting on accents to make it more interesting. For one call I spoke in an Indian accent. Must have gone well because the customer didn't notice. I told him that I'd get my supervisor on the line to help with his query, put him on hold for a minute, switched my voice back to Southern English, and he knew none the better. Switched back to Indian and got my sale. Had a lady on the phone who had a beautiful sounding voice. I sort of fell in love with it, and to an extent my imagination of her. General random conversations turned more casual are always a welcome surprise. Had a customer who noticed how low I felt and hoped my day would get better. I appreciate empathetic people who instinctively understands the plight of depression. Suffice to say, I have got very ill over this job: rage attacks, depression, existential angst, feeling like a complete failure, intellectual escapism, isolation, hopelessness, and wanting to give up on life. I took it on out of necessity because of COVID. I needed work pronto. My doctor prescribed me a beta blocker this morning to keep me going and to help with the ruminating thoughts that come from the isolation and stress. I should hope that my next job is better. However, I've learned to expect nothing, since the quality of a job is also dependent upon the attitude of both colleagues and superiors. The only good thing about this job is that both have been fantastic, which is a rarity in a call center environment. How dare you send me this notice? I work at an electric company. Occasionally we have areas that we schedule to be turned off due to regular maintenance on the power lines and other issues we need to fix to prevent a massive outage. We try not to do it often in the same area often, and we send out notices for the people in the affected areas. I received a call due to this issue. At first the caller was pleasant when I was verifying his information. Then when it got into the issue, it quickly took a turn for the worse. He started complaining, stating, "I got this notice in the mail. How dare you switch off my power on a football Saturday?" I looked it up and saw that there was a planned outage in the area, and explained that's done as a preventative measure, so we can work on fixing general issues, so to not cause a bigger problem down the line. Yeah, but it's on a Saturday. What am I supposed to do about watching the game? I apologized for the inconvenience and suggested he can go to a relative or friend's house in the meantime. Then the call turned to be an overtly racist call. He then complained, "I know I am a white male veteran from Vietnam, and I know I'm becoming more of a second-rate citizen now. I know for sure that you won't shut off the power for one of those illegal immigrants here." I told him I can't really reschedule this. It was scheduled months ago. I told him it should be back on by 3 o'clock. As for now, that's all I can tell him. I asked if I can help him in any other way. He laughed and said, "Well, you haven't helped me a bit," and hung up the phone. I couldn't help but laugh after that. I'm learning how to learn and laugh at myself. I also accidentally created a mythical creature. I just started nesting. For those who don't know, it's baby birds in training, in customer care for a really cool software startup. We were doing mock calls and mock email cases. I've been out of the call center game for a couple of years because of health issues, and I'm terrified to take my first live call, but I already know what a bad first shift is like. Anyway, back to the subject of me having total fail sweats. During a collaborative case, I volunteered to screen share and own a case. We were kinda on the right path, but it was close to the end of the day and words were hard. I felt pretty good about my outgoing message, and I had 4 other pairs of eyes on it before I hit send. I received a customer, my trainer, message back saying, "What the heck is this listing mess wipes?" Good question. I responded, "I am so sorry. Apple autocorrect has apparently bested me in battle." My team was laughing at me so hard and I about fell to the ground dying. I have no idea where the hell Apple came up with that phrase while I was asking about a magnetic card reader, but we decided that a listing messwipes is a mythical creature that has scales, and it is at least part bearded dragon and part cat, with a pointed tail. Customers don't seem to know how bills work. I work at a call center for a company that provides certain utility service to people. Seems like every week I and my coworkers get a large number of calls from people that seem genuinely confused as to why we send them disconnection notices, and or when we actually disconnect their service. Yes, we do understand that many people get behind due to many circumstances that weren't planned for, which is why we do offer ways to avoid such instances from happening as well as opportunities to have their services turned back on after it's been shut off. There are even many agencies that they can call for them to provide a payment towards their accounts, in which we do explain during the interactions with our many customers. However, that doesn't stop people from wanting to argue with us. We have to take anywhere between 10 minutes to an hour to explain to them that in order to not be disconnected we need regular payments, and the last payment received was 2 months prior, and even at that time of payment it may have not covered fully what was owed. People swear up and down with all the excuses. That how we run the business shouldn't be that way. They didn't receive their bills that we emailed to them, or my favorite excuse I've heard thus far, but in my mind I paid the bill. Well, if you can somehow monetize your thoughts, let me know. We are glad to help you out as much as is allowed, but you have to actually uphold your end of our help and pay your bills. End of rant.